Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to Sheba Sunday. Having a couple technical things we're working through and are actually going really perfectly. Hey, I'm Sheba. It's my 21st episode. Thank you so much for joining me. It's like an extra special one. One of my good friends, such a brilliant soul, and her new child that she just created is going to be chatting with me, and you're going to get some of this wisdom, and it's going to be really awesome. Okay, let's get this sage going. I am grateful that I met this person. It just feels very like serendipitous, as you know I say, and like I think it's really lucky for me and frankly the world that we met. So this person, with no further ado, I am introducing Jessa Coleman. Here we go. Oh my gosh. And this is little Rhythm. Hi. Hi, girl.
She loves it.
Hi, babe. You look so cute. Hey, yeah. She, like, when the spotlight is on, that's where she's at home. How have you been?
Absolutely. I have been lovely, just, on my hustle.
Yes. Oh my gosh.
Now mom hustle as well. So
wow.
We are continuously adapting and growing. It's pretty amazing. I love challenges, so it's a good challenge to be up for.
You navigate through them artfully too. It's one of the many things I admire about you. It's so cool. Okay, so like I'll just do a little like introduction of you and how I know you and things. Okay, Jessa Coleman, brilliant artist. I met her here in Maryland. We met in, can I say?
Yes.
A very sexy foursome. And yes. It was like we chatted a little bit. And I was like, this person is really cool. And she was in a show. You were in this show. It was a dance opera.
Oh, yeah,
Snapshots. It was really interesting. And I went to that and we hung out after and we just like had so many similarities. I was like, what on earth? How did I meet this
right?
person?
How did we not meet sooner?
I know, right? I'm also glad though, like we met like right when we did. I feel like it was a perfect kind of convergence of all the things and we were in like just the right place to really vibe. Okay, and so who is she? I think I would like you to maybe like, who are you? Please introduce yourself.
Well, hi guys. First of all, I'm so honored to be here. Sheba is also just such an inspiring, incredible, sweet, talented soul, and I'm just very grateful that I get to be here with you on Sheba Sunday.
Yes.
And I, like Sheba, I am an artist first. That's always how I've identified, even when I was a kid. I've always known who I am. I've always known what I'm here to do. Like, there was never a day in my life when I didn't know that I'm here to make the magic with the music. That's like always been who I am. I didn't even talk first as a baby. Like I sang.
Oh.
I sang this Chevrolet commercial. My parents love to tell that story.
Do you still remember it?
Yeah. It was the heartbeat of America. Today's Chevrolet. Do you remember that commercial?
I don't.
No? Okay,
I don't. But Billy, tell me if you remember
commercial.
that. That's so funny.
Yeah, it was big in the 80s, the late 80s.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've always been an artist. I've always sang and danced and written and created and been an artist's spirit. And I've been very fortunate because I started working professionally, like when I was in high school.
Wow. Just
doing like gigs here and there. And then I went to college for film, theater, and video in Maryland and got my BS in that. And I lived in LA for a while. I sang on cruise ships for Royal Caribbean for years. That's how I met my husband. We both sang on the same cruise ship, and here we are now. And I lived in Tokyo in Japan, teaching vocal, dance, theater there. I used to work at Toby's Dinner Theater for like years in my like late teen, like 19 through like 24. And now I'm an equity, wow, I can't believe it's such an honor. I'm an equity performer, and I currently sing at Disney, and I'm in Lion King and Finding Nemo, and I love it down here. I know politically it's not the best, but you know, everywhere in America is not the best politically for Black people, and they need warriors in Florida right now. So I'm very happy to live here, but I live here primarily because I am a mermaid. That's like my second identifying characteristic.
Artist mermaid.
Artist mermaid, yeah. And so I am here for the beaches and the springs and the water, and I love it down here. So
yeah, it's like if you're going to be in a place where like the people are challenging, at least like the natural landscape is like so magical.
Absolutely.
And you're right, like they do need, you know, some counter magic to kind of balance it out and hopefully win in the end.
Yeah, very much so. And you know, it's I mean, that's how the whole country was. You go back 20 years, you go back 5 years. I mean, everywhere there is always going to be a political struggle for what is right, what is civil, what is just. And, you know, we can run away from, my baby wants milk. We can run away from the states that perhaps don't have the vibe that we want right now. But the thing is, if people don't come into these areas, it'll never change. So I love it here.
Yeah. Let me know if you want me to like pop you off camera real quick if you want to nurse or something. Okay, Rhythm, give us a second. I get it though. Them titties great.
I'd be so happy.
And I think it's so, one of the many ridiculous things about, you know, this country is that we like sexualize and demonize the women form, the female form, and it's literally so powerful and creative, and like that's how we all got here. And so
and thank you for saying that. And it goes back to the nature. Like the reason I live and go to places isn't because of the politics or anything. I go to places because of nature, because that is, you know, I'm a flower child, I'm a wild child, I'm a wild heart. Yeah. So I go for the nature, and that's why I'm here. I can't do winter. I can't do it anymore. I'm done. I grew up in it. I don't ever want to live. Yeah,
you gave it the good old college try. You know, you stay there well into your 30s. Yeah, and you also got to see a bunch of other different climates, and like. Mm-hmm.
That's the wonderful thing about growing up, you know, in the DMV, in Maryland, Virginia, is that we get to experience 4 true seasons. And I knew very young that spring and summer are my seasons. And so as I grew up and got to travel, especially doing cruise ships on Royal Caribbean, you know, we're going through the Caribbean and all different parts of the world, and I'm just getting to immerse myself in these new places. And I knew I wanted to live as close to the West Indies as possible, because I do feel my heart is very much in the Caribbean. And so while still staying in the country to fight the good fight, to be a warrior, I'm as close to, you know, all the Saint Islands as possible.
Yes. I love and really admire your ability to like understand what the world is and like really be self-directed in knowing what you want and going to get it. You like get the experiences you need to be you, and like more people need to do that. Go ahead, please.
I'm very fortunate in that I've always had that. That's something that's just in my DNA. I think I get it from my dad.
Yeah.
Another similarity that Sheba and I share, if I may, is, you know, we met in such an incredible sexually liberating experience, and we also discovered that we both lost our fathers at the same age, right? 28, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
We're the same age, which is also Saturn's return, which is very significant. I would love to talk about later, but
hold on 1 second, actually. Billy, if you're listening, I just found your phone. I think he's searching for it. I hear him like in other rooms.
Phone found.
Billy, I've got your phone. Okay, I'll just hopefully. Oh, I hear him. Okay. Okay, so yes, we'll definitely come back to Saturn return because you know more about that. I feel like you're more well versed in that than I am. So, absolutely. Yes, around both of our Saturn returns.
Yeah, losing our dads, which, I felt, again, that was another kind of serendipitous thing that I felt we were very kindred, because I'm like, being these Black girls that grew up in predominantly white, Asian, Jewish spaces, being artists, and then losing a father, regardless of the relationship with the father,
Right.
losing a parent is horrific. It's going to be 10 years next year, and I can't believe that.
Wow.
I can't believe it. I talk to my dad every day. I miss him every day. I am exactly like him, so much.
Yeah.
And he gave me that energy and that spirit in my DNA of that self-direction, because he was very much that. He very much broke barriers. He was a swimmer for Penn State in the 70s,
Black man
yeah,
swimmer, college swimmer. Wow. That's so interesting.
At Penn State.
Wow.
Yeah. So I get my mermaiding from him. I get my self-direction from him.
Wow.
I get my party spirit from him.
Yeah.
And I get my work ethic from him. So.
That's so powerful. Yeah. I love that about you. Your connection with your father and your understanding of your parents as like people and how that relates to you.
Flawed people. That's all we are.
Exactly.
Flawed and beautiful and dark and right.
Totally.
And
fully human.
Everything.
Exactly.
Yeah, everything.
Exactly. We are these like really perfect humans. Like we have the full range of the experience, and we I think me and you really recognize and appreciate people who foster that in us and themselves.
Yes.
Yeah, that's so cool. My family, so we used to go on cruises a lot. And so I was always like in awe of the performers and things. And as I've, grown up, I didn't always think of myself as an artist. And I started to learn that like, man, success takes more audacity than talent. And these people are brave. They just get up there and they at least, at the very least, tried, and someone recognized them. That's amazing. And how cool that like while you're a person who's brave enough to go and try, you are successful at it, and you meet a man who is like on a similar kind of path as you, and like marvels and fosters that in you. Like, what?
Yeah, I actually dated growing up. I dated an actor like in high school, one of my first loves. And then in college, I dated other actors and singers and performers. And after that, I was like, I can't do it because it's just so high energy. It's such intense, energetic relations. And I was like, I'm not doing this again. And, I went in like an opposite direction, dating people that were not privy of what it is to be an artist, which made my life much harder. And, was a lesson I needed to learn. And I knew when I met Ish on, we're both singing on the cruise ships on that contract, which also is the contract my father passed away. So that was an intense contract. But when I met him, I was like, first of all, I just wanted to be with him, and we wanted to be together. We even talked about having a baby. This is before we, were even together.
Yeah. And just about when I met you, you were dating this other person who I was like, this is not, I don't know about a Pisces man, but like, you were very like, I'm never having a child. I'm never having a kid.
Oh yeah. My whole life I was like that, which is very much something I get from my dad. So the Colemans are all very much like no kids. Yeah. We're very selective about our partners too. We don't, and if we have a kid, it's only one. I'm an only child. And all my cousins from the Colemans, there's 7 Coleman children. And out of the 7, 4 had kids, and all of us are only children. So we're kind of like each other's siblings.
I love that. How interesting. What an interesting community to foster. And like, I love people who are discerning with their DNA. You know, they're not just like, you know, whoever by chance. Right. And I think like certainly after four kids, you're kind of just like the DNA's too diversified and you're kind of random people. You can't control for if they're going to be assholes. And so like I think your family has the right idea and can't argue with these results, you know?
Yeah, I mean, she was meant to be here in the world at this time. So
at this time, oh, totally. You know, like it gives me a little hope for the world. And you're one of the few people who actually like I had certainly a fear of motherhood just because of what society demands of mothers and how they treat them, how they treat children. And you're one of the few people who I saw like you took to motherhood and like you're still being very much yourself. And I think that's kind of the key for like if other people can take a note, you know, like your children need to see you caring for yourself, being yourself, so they know how to do it.
Being yourself. Exactly. And you know, I was also afraid of motherhood. I was terrified of childbirth. I have a traumatic memory where the first time I watched an episode of ER with my mom when I was 8, and it was an episode about a woman giving birth, and I forget what it's called, the condition, but the baby's shoulders got stuck, and they had to cut her open, and then she bled to death. So I was like, I'm not doing that. Plus, my Coleman DNA was already like, we're not having kids because we don't, you know.
One is enough. Like, you are enough, you know, like the world is lucky to have even you, you know?
Yeah. But yes. And so I very much, my whole life was like, I'm not doing that. And also true to Coleman form, when we do have the one kid, it is between the ages of 35 and 40. So I was 36. So I'm literally right on track with my personal alignment, my DNA, what is called for me if I chose to do it, and I did because of the person, you know. Ish is just so incredible, and she's falling asleep. She's already so musical and so responsive to music, which is to me the most incredible thing. It's like if we get nothing else, if she can just love and be present in any artistic form, then I've done my job. And yeah, all I can do is be myself, and I'm very much about being myself, so I'm not gonna let her or any other person again keep me from that, because I have gone through that. I've gone through letting people I've been in relationships with dim my shine, which is I gave that up. I gave up my power. I allowed myself to dim myself because so often in my life I've been told I'm too much, I'm too bright, I'm too everything. And as you have said to me so many times, which I love, is that, you know, I'm as big as the trees, as are you. You know, brightness recognizes brightness, royalty recognizes royalty, and to never allow, you really helped inspire me, like re-spark me to claim my power back and not hide my shine anymore. Like you're a huge part of that. You're a huge part of me coming out of that bad relationship and owning up to my flaws, my negative behavior, you know, and finally being fully authentic, at least trying, right?
Yeah,
trying to be
totally
fully authentic.
We're like, I think certainly as women, we're told that a good woman, a valuable woman, is one who will make herself willingly smaller to fit into someone else's life, usually a man's life, to be what someone else needs you to be. And I am so honored that you remembered that, like, you know, you are as big as the trees, and the person for you is gonna love that about you. And it takes bravery though to have faith in yourself and the universe that person is gonna recognize you and choose you, and so wow.
And then even after you find your way to each other and you choose each other, you choose yourself, you choose each other, you still have to nurture and protect that union and that relationship, which is a whole other difficult challenge, which requires so much time and energy. But the thing is, when you love each other, you're gonna do it on good days, bad days, boring days, exciting days.
Right.
All of it.
Totally. Yes, I love that. Okay, yeah, this I think is in my point of the notes, maiden to mother / dark feminine. Because I think the femininity we're taught to like kind of value. And first, I don't love the idea of like the divine masculine and the divine feminine, just because I think it fits too closely into like the gender binary.
Very Western.
Very Western. Like I think there's like it's maybe a circle of what you can be, and we're taught to think it's like you're either masculine or feminine, or you're somewhere on this like opposite pole, but like it's way more complex than that. But since people understand, you know, femininity and masculinity, I think we've been taught that a feminine woman is one who wants to make herself a little smaller, who isn't ambitious, who wants to make a home in one place, who wants to marry this certain type of man, you know, and who is going to be this. And I think I am attracted to, and I draw people to me who are like this idea of the dark feminine. And it's the thing that a lot of times femininity is demonized about, like sexuality, beauty, art. You were actually the person who taught me the word fecund, which is like fecundity. And at first I was like, ooh, what a weird, sounds too much like fecal. But then I was like, actually, it did a little bit. But then I was like, that's bullshit. And how beautiful. You're right. I think we're taught that women are kind of this passive, receptive thing that an active masculine is poured into, and then it becomes thing. I'm like, nuh-uh. Actually, women are the ones who are literally creating everything. Yeah. And our fertility, you know, they try to reduce it down to just like creating a human, but like we keep together nations. And create something from nothing, find a way where there isn't a way. And I really value women who are not afraid to be like, I am as big as the trees. I am sexy. I am talented. I'm beautiful. I'm a goddess, you know? And yeah, so I think that's like the dark feminine. So what do you, what's your take on the dark feminine?
I really started getting into the dark feminine when I've always been into astrology since I was in middle school. I actually have spell books and journals dating all the way back to when I was in kindergarten. I've been writing my whole life. My whole life is written down.
Wow.
So all my mistakes are all written down. And I used to write spell books in middle school, especially. It was the 90s. The Craft had just come out.
Yes, come on.
Yeah.
Practical Magic.
Yeah, Practical Magic. I was obsessed with both those movies.
Yes.
And of course, just overall, it was just that energy in the late 90s. But
I think a lot of girls in the late 90s were drawn to this idea of like, we have the power. That like, if we just find the right combination of words or ingredients.
And mix it together.
Yes.
We can manifest.
We can create something from nothing.
Yeah, and that's literally that movie, you know, and that whole kind of time period, even the music, that whole era of music. There's a lot of dark feminine energy in there.
Yes.
Alanis Morissette comes to mind for me. But anyway, I would write my own spells, and then I was getting deep into astrology in like middle and high school. And of course, as I've gotten older and I've gotten to explore other cultures' astrology, Egyptian, American Indian, which I really resonate with a lot. I really like the native indigenous astrology. It's really, really deep. Northwest African. There's so much. And what's funny is they're all parallel. Like, you know, an Aries, I'm an Aries sun. An Aries sun is an Aries sun in Egyptian astrology and American Indian astrology. It's called something else. In American Indian, it's a falcon. I'm a falcon, which is one of my spirit animals too, coincidentally.
Wow.
I have a thing for red-shouldered hawks, birds of prey, predatory birds. And so I find that it's also parallel because the energy from the stars and the planets is literally shaping matter, whether you like it or not, whether you want to acknowledge it or not. It is what it is.
Right.
And one of the stars is Lilith in Greek astrology, and Lilith represents the dark feminine. And I believe mine, I need to look again, I always forget, but I believe mine is it's a water sign. I want to say it's Scorpio, but I'm not sure. I
Yeah,
think it
that's
might be
what my
Pisces.
sun is. I have a Scorpio sun, a Cancer moon, and a Leo rising.
Leo rising.
Yeah.
Another thing we share in common, Sheba and I both have Leo rising, which usually your rising sign outshines, especially if it's fire, it outshines everything else because it is the rising sign represents the time that you were born at the latitude and longitude on the planet you were born, which has a lot to do with shaping your energy and your path, you know. So the great thing about the dark feminine is, you know, that's something I definitely ran away from most of my life. So when I started learning about it, I realized I always had so much of that in me. I've always been attracted to the esoteric, to the dark. You know, I was obsessed with Beetlejuice growing up. I went through a goth stage in middle school, kind of a punky, a colorful goth. I was like a more like a kind of a rainbow bright gothy punk girl for like a couple months.
Yeah.
Which I still have pieces of that in my style and my identity. But I realized I've always had such dark feminine energy. I have a deep level of rage and violence, which comes from being a double fire sign, and just from being a Black woman in this country where we've had so much of ourselves be pushed down. And so I discovered my rage when I survived domestic violence in a previous marriage, and I actually was arrested twice and for violence because I unleashed so much that I could have killed someone, which I'm not ashamed of because I was defending myself. But I did not know how strong and powerful I was, especially when fueled by rage. And so as I was trying to heal that part of myself and understand that part of myself, I'm learning more about the dark feminine. I started jujitsu so I could protect myself. And I became really aware that all of that part of me that I ran from and tried to hide was so crucial to me and to my creativity and to me as an artist. So I could not ignore it. I had to embrace her. I had to love her. I had to know her and sit with her and be with her and feed her and let her grow. And, you know, a lot of people were like, oh, Jess is so positive and optimistic and upbeat and bright. Yes, but I've always had such a deep dark side that I love so much. And I think it's so important to embrace it.
Yeah, I love your depths, and I think as women, we're taught, certainly as women, we're taught that like anger, rage, that's masculine, that's unbecoming. No one's gonna want you, you know, you're hysterical. They don't take us seriously, they shame us for it, and so we learn to, you know, like really keep and so I think a lot of times in lots of women it manifests as sadness or as like a numbing, as you know, because we're not allowed rage, even though like we've been put through some shit and we're expected to still be, you know, polite and nice and inoffensive to others. And I love seeing how women are being like, wait, why are we doing that? For whose benefit? And like that, look at where that's gotten us. Everyone is afraid, you know, everyone doesn't know how to love themselves or to be loved for themselves. It's interesting. You're like, you know, you're a falcon spirit, and which is a bird of prey. I have certainly my Chinese zodiac. It's like rabbit. And you've said to me once, like, cause I got like a cute little booty, like I'm like a little fairy, and
you're a pixie.
And once you said I was like a little prey, like a little bunny, and I remember feeling like I'm not a prey, like no one's gonna, you know, devour me. I hated the idea of like being, because we're taught kind of that there are predators and there are prey, and
just like there's divine, there's masculinity, and there's femininity.
Exactly.
But the thing is, we have all of all of
Yes.
that within us.
And one isn't better or worse than the other. I think we're taught that like
Exactly.
masculinity is better, femininity is the weak, worse, not
Yeah.
virtuous one. Predator, you want to be the predator. You don't want to be the prey. And
Yeah.
I think part of embracing my dark feminine was like, I do kind of draw people to me. I attract
Yeah.
them, and like just by being, they're kind of like, I don't know. And I've been learning how to like love that and harness that and see the ways in which like you can't devour me. I am a
Yeah.
predator, or like, I'm also a, yeah. So the duality on the fullness.
The duality, exactly. And being, and I do remember saying that to you. And for me, it was very much sexually driven because I'm very much attracted to women and I find women that are attracted to me are usually, I have a lot of masculine energy. I always have. And it's funny because I remember you told me I was so graceful and feminine, and I remember being like, I'm not, because my whole life I've always been like, it's hard to explain, but I've always felt very boyish, and it has nothing to do with gender necessarily, but it's just that I've always felt very masculine in my energy, and it doesn't mean that it's because I'm athletic or strong. It's just that I've always kind of been, and again, reshaping these identities and not being like, oh, it means that I'm a predator. It doesn't mean that, but I've always been the one that kind of attacks, or the one that
you pursue.
I pursue. I'm very much a pursuer. And that's just what I am. I can't change that. And
totally.
we perhaps have attached it to masculinity.
Because we tell women it's not, we tell them it's bad to get the thing you want. What?
Yeah.
Like to want something and to pursue it. Why?
Right.
Why would I wait
pleasure.
to be chosen?
Right. Especially pleasure. Like we're told you can't chase pleasure. You shouldn't be actively, proactively.
Yeah. It's selfish. It's bad. Pleasure. What about the children? Like.
Right. I've been told my whole life by lots of people, usually relationships that did not work out, and other women, that I was very selfish, and I was, just too selfish and too predatory. And it's funny because a lot of people were like, oh, we don't see that in you because you're so cute. But, nature's really good at making predators look like they're not predators.
Of course.
And I very much recognized very young that I could kind of pursue and get things just by being cute. And again, I definitely never intended when I said that you were like prey, that it was anything negative or derogatory. I just felt like our energy together, I was like, you're like this cute little bunny, and I'm like the tiger, and like I'm born the year of the tiger. And I was like, and I'm coming to get you. That's the,
totally.
And I like that. I love that feeling because it feeds this very dark feminine energy in me, because it's who I naturally am, that I perhaps have tried to hide, is that I like someone who has that kind of, energy, because I like to go and get them.
Yeah.
And it's really fun. And it's funny that our year of the rabbit. So Rhythm is she's a rabbit head, year of the rabbit, born in 2023, but a tiger tail, because the Chinese New Year is in the end of January, beginning of February. So she's right on the cusp.
Wow.
So my Chinese friends that I have, they've told me that they were like, hey, if you're a cusper baby, usually you have the head of the new one and then the tail of the previous. So she's a rabbit head, tiger tail. So she has a mix of both of our energies. So literally, she is both predator and prey as well.
Wow. I think that's so powerful. It's so amazing. And since you said that, and I've, had lots of time to process, I love the idea of being like a tasty little irresistible morsel that like people can't help but try and like come into my trap, kind of.
Yeah, exactly.
And yeah.
Exactly. And all of that also bringing it back to sexuality. My whole life I put my dark feminine down, my rage down, my anger down, my violence down, but I always leaned into my sexuality. That's something that I never hid from, and I think it's because I was always so horny that I had no choice but to pursue and follow my horniness. And I'm very grateful for that. That is something I started doing very young, and continued. And, you know, and every time I tried to put it down, it never served me. Whenever I leaned into my own sexuality and my own pleasure and my own joy and fulfillment, I have found magic there.
Yeah.
And you are one of those magical things that I have found, because, you know, I was living in Japan, and then in that relationship, I wanted to do some things that my partner at the time said he wanted to do with me, and then he was like, no, I don't want to do that now, I'm not comfortable, even though we had done things for him,
right,
to fulfill him,
right.
And I was so, you know, I had spent a whole 6 months in Tokyo mulling that over and trying to push that all down, the things I wanted. And then when I got back to America, I was like, you know what, I'm doing this because I've had some people pursuing me, and you know what, I'm doing this even if it's behind this person's back. And so when I did that, I met you. So if I had not done something bad, something, you know, wrong, gone against, you know, been unfaithful, like how could you do such a thing? If I had not done that, I would not know you. And you are one of the most dear people in my life. And so I am grateful for my rebelliousness. I am grateful for my pursuit of my own pleasure. And yes, I had to check myself and make sure that I never put myself in a place where I had to go behind someone's back ever again. I always wanted to be upfront. And I tried to be at that time, but he did not want it. Yeah. But the point is, I made sure to not have myself in that position ever again.
Yeah.
And to make sure that I could be 100% honest. And now I have an incredible partner who we are 100% honest. And I've never felt so fulfilled. And we do everything together that we want to do. And we have freedom. And
wow,
I'm grateful.
Women are definitely told not to expect that. We're told to, the reason I didn't like your ex-boyfriend, I saw that. I know, I think lots of men are taught to kind of say that they accept a woman and they want to do what she wants to do. But then when push comes to shove, there's always a reason why, oh, I can't. And I saw him following you around, kind of doing whatever you kind of wanted to do generally. He was like, okay, totally. But then he would kind of sad sack his way through it and didn't really have anything of his own other than he saw how valuable you are and wanted to keep you in his life. And, you know, the person who's going to be for you is going to, like, you're going to be able to be authentically you around, and you're not going to need to hide. But I'm so glad that, you know, you kept who you really are, kept coming up against, and you're like, I don't care if this makes me look bad or it's not the right thing. It's the right thing for me. And look at how much it paid off. Yeah. And we're still friends with those guys as well. Exactly.
And, you know, I have a better relationship with all of you guys than I do with my ex, because we all accept each other authentically, present tense.
Yeah.
And the point is that you can do good things, bad things, but it's all going to lead you to who you are, and you're always going to be presented with, you know, that fork in the road of, do I want to be authentically who I am, or do I want to hide who I am? Still being that, but hiding it. And I chose to, you know, I was hiding it for a while, and then I chose to go and be authentic and not hide anymore.
I think
it was one of the best choices of my life. And you helped me. You pushed me to make that choice, and it made me uncomfortable. You know, I'm not used to people telling me, hey, that's kind of shitty, you know, even though it's fun, but it was kind of shitty.
Exactly.
And I
was the thing that happened, I was just like I was like, you're awesome, and you care about this person, and you should, you know, be real with him. And if you can't, then he's probably not for you. And it was honestly, I was thinking of not saying it, because I know you're not supposed to say that. You're not supposed to be too honest with people. And I'm so glad that you took it. You didn't hate me. The opposite of that, you know, on your own time, you started to like grapple with that. And hey, it worked out.
Yeah, and that's when I, really knew. I was like, I'd much rather nurture this relationship with Sheba than that relationship with that person, because not only do I feel very authentic with her, and I can be, but she also called me on my shit, and did it from love. That's the other thing.
Yes.
If you had done it from a place of malice or anything, it would have felt different. But it felt very much like, hey, you know, I'm just letting you know how I feel because I actually do care about who you are. And that really spoke so deep to me, and I've never forgotten that. And it has literally been a catalyst for me to check myself and be better on the correct path for me.
Wow. I am so honored. Wow, that makes me feel so good. And I'm so glad I could do that for you because meeting you, helped me see like I can be myself and do these things that other people wouldn't do, but that speak to me. And I'm going to be successful at it. People are going to love me for it. I'm going to find my people. I'm going to find more of myself through this process. Like pursuing pleasure, like really getting in touch with like what do I want? Like what does make me feel good? And even if it's like society says I'm not supposed to. And meeting someone like
Right, even if
you,
it's so nasty.
thank you. What can I say? I know, and I think certainly, like women, I was kind of in where you all your life were able to kind of be like, I'm sexual and I cannot hide it, and this is who I am. I I felt like I was trying to hide it, but like I probably wasn't doing that great a job of it. But I definitely felt bad about it. I felt bad, kind of that my body looks sexy, just kind of straight out of puberty. This is how my body has always looked, and we're told to kind of be ashamed if your body is sexy, but also we're told to be ashamed if your body isn't sexy, and
Exactly.
so
We're just
like
told to be ashamed. If you're a woman, something's wrong with your body.
literally inherently like your nakedness is obscene, and it's like
Mm-hmm.
wait, why on earth? And I'm so glad to see so many women recognizing the absurdity of that and recognizing that, oh, hold on, did you go, I can't see you right now. Oh no. Okay, great. It's like, okay. um yeah, I love that. I love women who are able to be like, we're born naked and the rest is drag, and getting to really play with that. Um, hold on. Can you say something really quick? I can't hear you again. Oh no. Hold on. Let's see. Let me try this. That do anything? Now it says, okay, so now it's like a purple screen. Let's see. Sorry, everyone. Just give me a couple seconds. Figure this out. Okay. We can do. I think Billy's coming down. Hold on. Hey, my darling. So, purple. I can't hear her. And let's see.
You want to go on a quick break? Take a
Okay, I'm gonna do a be right back, which I never do. Wow. Okay. And Jessa, I'm gonna call you real quick. Okay. Give me 1 second, please. Hello. Oh. Uh. This guy. Okay.
There we go. Turn it up some more.
Yeah.
Up, down. Okay, right there.
Okay. All right. Let's see. Let me turn it up a little bit. Now transition. Ah!
Hear me? Yay!
Yay! Oh my God. Thank you. Freaking, okay.
Yeah, it's all good. I was like, I'll just sing a song and so you can hear me.
It's perfect. It's perfect. I named this episode something with Jessa Coleman, Part of Your World, because I know, you know, my queen mermaid. Okay. Yeah, anyway, we were talking about how, yeah, I certainly used to hide my, I was told kind of that my sexuality, like I shouldn't be proud of that, and I shouldn't use it kind of for my own benefit. And meeting you really helped me to embrace it and to not be so ashamed of it. And I was like, wow, there are other like black women who are living their lives and being loved and being sexy. Oh my God. So it was really freaking cool.
It's so amazing that, we like collided into each other and really sparked us, both of us, to be better for ourselves, for nobody else.
Yeah.
Just for us.
Totally. We really like evolved into the next versions of ourselves like seamlessly. So thank you for that. And I know it's so yeah, and so I don't know if this was how it was for you. You were talking about people who in kind of who you were influenced by, the craft, practical magic. I loved that. I love those movies. I was also, we went to this at the BMA, they had this hip hop exhibit, and it was all about like, I don't know, the fashion and aesthetic influences of hip hop. And I was like, I actually did really want to be a video vixen when I was a kid. I love the idea of being Lil' Kim, or, just the woman in the video that everyone wants and that they're making these songs about. I was like, hell yeah. And I hated realizing that like, no, wait, actually I'm not supposed to be that. People won't respect me and they'll treat me poorly. Like, what? And so it's really cool to kind of be at this place where I've, I didn't always think of myself as an artist. And so it's like doing it kind of in the right way, going to college, doing a respectable job, and being able to still be myself though. And being like, actually, I'm an artist who was doing this respectable stuff in order to like get to this point. And so it's been really cool to embrace my artistness recently.
Because you're an artist, like whether you were aware of it or not.
Right.
When I met you, I definitely knew after just that conversation. I was like, yeah, she's an artist.
Wow, it's so funny. I always thought I was someone who supports artists and who appreciates artists.
And you are that as well, but
Yeah.
you are an artist who also deserves to be supported and appreciated. And it's funny because I mean, all of us, every artist, we all struggle to do what we want to do.
Yeah.
I mean, all I
Oh,
really
yeah.
want to do is like swim all day naked, have a bunch of sex, and eat amazing food, travel the world, and like do a show here and there, like
Yeah.
whether it be like a little set where I'm singing, or it's dance, or it's a full-out theatrical production. That's all I want to do. I just want to be in the industry, working with other amazing people, and getting paid very, very well for it.
That's the dream.
My sacred time and energy. And I've had to fight to be an artist. My whole life it's been a fight. Luckily I'm very competitive, so that was never felt hard for me to go to auditions. Actually I hate auditions, but I love them. Especially since COVID happened and everything became digital, so everywhere now you have to like send in video submissions, which I hate. Like I book the job if I go in person. When I'm in person, I get the job. But on a video submission, they won't always like see who I truly am, so I might not get that callback.
Exactly.
But when I go to auditions, if I'm in person, I always get a callback.
Yeah, something about the in-person thing. Some people are really good at that connection. I haven't auditioned for many things, but like I mean for like jobs and stuff, if it's in person, they love me.
Yeah, same thing.
Yeah.
Exactly. It's the same thing. And it's funny because Ish is the opposite. Ish, he's great on video submissions and he always gets a callback for them. But like he'll go in person and he still gets nervous. I mean, I still get nervous too. But he just doesn't feel as strong there. And I'm like,
When I'm on a video thing, I feel like I can't control it as much, or I'm like, since it's not one and done, I can like edit it. I can do a bunch of takes. I get too perfectionistic about it, and I start to, yeah, and I start to be like, oh, this isn't even good. And so it's nice to just put it all out there and like be done. I think. Yeah.
it's much better to do that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, being like a musical theater nerd my whole life, I've always been a theater kid, and I'm very grateful for the theater community because it's where I connected with all my LGBTQ plus people. That's where I connected with all my weird pixie, fae, fairy, mermaid,
Yeah.
martial arts people. All these, like, I feel like theater has this incredible pull for all the weirdos, all the freaks, all the geeks, all the nerds. All of us come into theater, and then we're all like, "Yay, my people!"
Right.
And if I had not have had that community, I would not be as comfortable or as strong.
Yeah.
As soon as I got to get there.
Right.
But I honestly don't think it matters when you get there, as long as you get there.
Totally.
As long as you find your community and you make your art.
Yeah.
Whether and also the fact that your art doesn't always have to be consumed.
Yes.
I hate that pressure, which is the pressure I've felt. Always made art just for me, whether that was vision boards or songs. And sometimes I put my own songs out there and like nobody really cares. And then I'm like, this is why I don't put it out there, because nobody cares. But I make it for myself. I've always made my own music for me. Ish pushes me though. He pushes me to put more of my music out because he's like, it's good.
Yeah.
But I'm very self-conscious about my own music. It's very sensitive about that.
It's so hard it's literally like creating a child or a baby. It's like, look at this beautiful thing I made. Do you like it?
Yeah.
And I think a lot of us aren't taught on how to support people in their bids for connections. So when they put out something that's like from their heart, like a poem, be it whatever creative thing is, I love to like reward people for their bravery, because I know how difficult that is for me, to put something of my own mind out. It's much easier to kind of repost someone else's creativity thing that other people have already approved of, but it really is hard to be like, this is my thing. And we're definitely taught in this capitalist system that like, if you're not going to be great at something, don't do it. But that's not the purpose of art,
Yeah, exactly.
And
art.
Go ahead, please.
Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead.
It's just art is just it's storytelling, and everyone's story is valid, and everyone's story deserves to be told and heard, even if it's just by you. It doesn't matter if it's just you or if it's a million people.
Yeah.
You have every right to share and express your story however you want to express that.
Yeah.
And to whether put that away just for you, or just for family, or just for friends, or just for the whole world. But the point is, I always tell myself, if I made a song and I never put it out there, I still made it.
Right.
I still created this.
And that's like
it's
so much more than what most people even do. You're already leaps and bounds, ahead of what other people are too afraid to even, fathom themselves doing.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we're definitely taught that like, if you're going to be an artist, it means you're going to be poor. It means you're going to be crazy. It means you're, it also means it looks a certain way. It means you're a painter. It means you are performing at Carnegie Hall. And like, that's still humans trying to like put a neat borders around art, which is, inherently generative and defies definition. And I think I see so many men, kind of hoping, like, trying to fight that and trying to be like, no, there's good art and there's bad art and it looks a certain way. Mostly men do it. And, you know, women are sometimes the subject of good art, but they are never themselves the creators of it. And it's such bullshit. Yeah.
I just find it, I'm so honored to like just be an artist, and I've always felt that way. I'm like, wow, like how blessed am I that I get these gifts, you know, and then I get to use them, and then they've taken me around the world. They brought me to my partner, like I mean,
like, you're telling me you're not a witch? You did create this beautiful, amazing life. Look at the vessel you were given, and look what you did with it. Look at how like creative you are in decorating it and fueling it and sustaining it and putting it out there and attracting people to it who will treat it well, you know. So powerful.
Yeah. And the same of you, you know, and it takes so much trial and error and so much failing. And it brings us back to like, well, not back, but I know when you first opened up this conversation, you said, hello, the whole RuPaul entrance. And it brings us back to, you know, kind of what Ru says a lot, which is, you know, it's like, hey, like, just get out, find out who you are, which is from Dolly Parton, which you say a lot. Find out who you are and then do it on purpose.
Yeah.
And that takes a lot of mistakes because we know we come into the world knowing who we are intuitively, and then the world beats it out of you. Yes. And then you have to rediscover, unlearn, relearn, and then heal, and then support and fuel yourself back up, build yourself back up to then do you on purpose with intention and love. Yeah.
With greater understanding and resources, you know?
Yeah. And it takes time. Yeah. And it doesn't matter if you knew you were an artist as soon as you came out of the womb, or if you find out 18 years later. The point is that you are what you are, and your journey to being that is gonna make you being that so much sweeter and more powerful for your own personal story. Yeah. And then when you express that story through your art, it's that much more, it has that much more weight.
Yeah, it's that much more fulfilling of a story, you know, a much more beautiful story. I love that like, you know, that me and you came to the same place from like kind of very different paths, and we still found it. And I think lots of people are told that there's one way to get to a good place, and so many people have bought into that, and they're not at a good place. And I want people to recognize that they have the power to, it won't look the same as everyone else, but you know, you've always been who you are. And like, really, so much of our work is just shedding and unlearning and reframing like stories we've attached ourselves to, and so few people see that they're attached to stories, to old stories.
Right. And you know, one of which, the biggest old story that so many people, especially in the Black community, attach themselves to is religion, and
Christian religion.
Yeah, Christian religion. Even, you know, Muslim religion.
Oh, you're so right. Yeah.
Yeah, like, I mean, so many of us are in that too. And I just feel like, listen, I believe in taking any tool that makes you a better human. Yes. Absolutely use that. Just don't impose it on others. Yeah. And don't negate other people's tools to be their best self.
Right. And like, I want people too to go a step further, certainly with Christianity or Muslim or these like organized religions that have been like kind of led by men. You know, recognize that like, is your belief system getting you to the place you want? You know, I think we're taught to be like, oh, they're non-believers, they're that, and so they're not, you need Jesus, you need that, but like, do y'all have Jesus? Do you have love in your life? Do people treat you well? Or is your life reflecting an idea that you're blessed? If not, you know, people need to be a little bit more comfortable seeing what tools other people are using, and being like, I'm going to try this tool for a little bit and hope I don't get struck down. And they usually see like, it's fine. You're good.
and that someone can use this tool and you can use a completely different one, and both of you can still be good people.
Yes.
And still live together in harmony.
Yep.
Who knew?
Totally. I'm so glad. I mean, just in the nick of time, you know, like women are starting to kind of realize, like, I don't know, I think we're supposed to be the leaders. We're taught that that's a masculine quality, to lead, and to have the wisdom and to do the thing. But like, actually, wait, women have been doing that all the time. We've just been told we can't, we just haven't been given the recognition. They've intentionally,
and the platform.
Yes, they intentionally misread what we're doing as not that valuable, not as powerful as it is. And it's like, no, we're not doing that anymore.
And it's crazy because literally everything we're taught in this Western colonized society is opposite.
Yes.
So, you know,
oh my gosh,
we like, I'm gonna say it. Sorry to everyone with European DNA. No offense. And here's the thing: I have European DNA too.
Yes,
so it's okay.
Exactly.
But African DNA is superior. One, because it's the first DNA that was on the planet. Two, we have, you know, women, black women, we're the only ones that have mitochondrial DNA, which is the ability to, when you have a baby, they can come out looking Asian, they can come out looking black and black, they can come out looking mixed, they can come out looking Puerto Rican. Like, we are the only ones that have mitochondrial DNA. Look it up if you don't believe me. It is inherent in us, and we're the only ones that have it because of the ancestral depth of our African roots, our African genes. It literally holds every combination possible, whereas the other nationalities and ethnicities, they have a lesser library of combinations of DNA that they can produce and have in their offspring. That's just science. And, you know, we have that also, you know, it goes back to like the 666, which is really about 6 protons, 6 electrons, 6 neutrons, which also only black people have. And we actually have, that's why we can do the things that we do. And it seems so magical. And, you know, I have seen this in my life through singing. I mean, black people, when we sing, there is just something there.
It's not just technically we're perfect, even though we are. We also have this soul, this like other quality.
Yeah, it is elusive and it is real, it is intangible, and it has to do with our DNA. That's all there is. It doesn't mean other people can't tap into it. It doesn't mean other people can't do it. I've heard so many other people sing for their life, like, you know, but when you look at historically, we have the largest pool of just unparalleled singers and artists in general, but especially for me, just because I've grown up in the school of singing and dance and theater, unparalleled vocalists. You know,
I think
it's just the facts.
Just
the facts.
And I think, you know, even it's like in all of the fields, I feel like, you know, we're when given the opportunity and the resources, athletics, all the movements, art, thinking, you know, with the woman who sent everyone to space, and also Henrietta Lacks, you know, she's that woman who has the gene that Johns Hopkins, you know, hospital stole this black woman's DNA because for whatever reason it reproduces indefinitely, so you can use it to study all these different diseases and conditions and genes. And no, did they pay the woman? No. Did they pay their family? No. Of course, they stole this valuable, you know, reality, this truth about, you know, a black woman, and you know, understood that we can learn a lot about all of us through studying, you know, black women.
Help all of us. And then, as you said, they stole it and then they lied to us about it, which they've been doing for hundreds of years.
It's so wild. They're playing in our faces. They're doing what they've always done, but now we can just, like, there's no curtain. Like, we can see what's happening.
The veil's been lifted, and that's because the awakening has really been happening. I mean, it's been happening forever, but it really, I think, our parents in the 60s and 70s really pushed the awakening.
It did.
And then it's been, they tried to subdue it in the 80s with food and media and capitalism, reaching a new height in the 80s. But the thing is, you can't stop the revolution.
Yeah.
You can't stop the awakening.
We're an unstoppable force.
Yeah, and it is nature, and nature will not be silenced.
Yeah.
She will always reign supreme, and she will always speak loudly, and she is speaking so loudly right now, and those people that don't seem to hear her, or that hear it but still deny that truth.
They're like, oh, that must be nothing. That's nothing. That's not the earth. It's, maybe it's God,
right,
but it's like,
yeah. But the thing is, it's like we all see it, and there's more of us now than there ever has been that are awakened, and we're coming from everywhere. And there's the Hopi American Indians, there's a Hopi prophecy that's called the Rainbow Prophecy. And it says that, when the earth is ravaged and the animals are dying and the water is drying up and the heat, right, all these things, there will be a tribe of people that come from everywhere, and they will be the Rainbow Warriors, and they will fight for our great mother and bring her back to her glory,
Yeah.
That's why I tell people also, it's like, we can't talk about what's wrong. We can't just talk about what's wrong. You also have to remind the earth and each other, you're beautiful. The earth is beautiful. The earth is fecund.
Yeah.
The earth is powerful. The earth is a powerful regenerative healer. We will not kill her.
Exactly. Like,
you will kill us.
Dudes really want to think they're that powerful to, destroy the ocean. Come on, bitch. The ocean has been here long before us. It's going to win in the end.
She's going to win. She always wins.
She always wins.
And the only time this earth will not be here is when our sun supernovas.
Exactly.
That's when she will no longer be here.
Exactly.
And she already understands that.
And she knows she's going to, just because she doesn't exist in the form that we're familiar with her, or even that the earth is familiar with, doesn't mean it stops existing. It just changes into a different thing. That, like,
energy changes.
It still exists in this, universe or whatever. Girl, we're so wise. And sometimes, it's maybe masculine about me that, like, I don't know, I want the credit for things. Like, I know women were supposed to, save people and do things for others and not want any of the credit. And, we do it without any thanks. Hell no. I want to be worshipped. And like, I see how ungrateful men collectively and like we've been taught to be for women's contributions. And like, sometimes I'm like, we should let them die. We should just let them do what they want and be the cause of their own demise.
They already are.
I mean, like, we could like literally sit back and do exactly what they want us to, and it will only hasten, the inevitable. So I think all what we're talking about, this dark feminine versus blah blah blah, the traditional femininity, it reminds me of Mermaids and Sirens. I feel like we're kind of told like a mermaid is kind of a sweet, kind of beautiful thing to look at, who really wants to be human, and whereas Siren is like, I'm pretending to be human so that like I can draw you into my depths, and if you're too weak to not be able to see what's going on, you're gonna die, you're gonna perish. But if you're not, well, you're gonna go on to have a cool odyssey or something.
Exactly.
And I love the idea of like the dark feminine being this thing that exists to like the dudes think, I don't know, that they're the heroes of this, but it's like the women who are like cleansing the earth kind of thing. Sorry, this is kind of a weird thing. Sorry, dudes. But
it's
not
true.
sorry.
And you look at every culture, indigenous cultures, and you see the goddesses are always the ones in control of the water and the fertility of earth.
Yeah.
Have
you heard of Kali too?
Yes.
It's like the Great Mother and like the Destroyer.
The Destroyer, yeah. So I really got into, when I took religion in college, I really got into the Mahabharata and just overall Indian spirituality.
Yeah.
And that's when I first learned about Kali.
Mm.
I always felt kindred with her, and a few other goddesses. And it's funny because a lot of the like great goddesses, they're usually associated with the dark archetype,
Yes.
or water. You know, Oshun, Yamaya, Oya, Medusa. So Medusa is actually, I think, a story taken, like many stories, from an African story, and she was a goddess of water, and she did have, and the snake represents kind of like the Kundalini, right?
Yeah.
Our sacred sexuality, our sacred energy, the chakras, all of these things are rooted in these goddesses, which are usually connected to water, which connects to sirens and mermaids. So Afro Mermaid, which is the festival I've been going to the last 3 years, every June in Miami, one of the girls that attends from LA, she has a podcast that's called Merwoman Podcast, and she talks about all these great mermaid movies that are out, that have been out, and also mermaid stories from other cultures, especially African cultures. And Medusa, I can't remember the original name of the woman because it's like Bantu language, so I can't pronounce it right. But she talks about all of that, and how sirens and mermaids are usually associated also with deep sexuality and sensuality, which I think is another reason I've always connected with the mermaid archetype. Because I've always been a water lover, but I've always felt like they're sexual, and there's no shame in that.
Yeah. And
they're also violent and dangerous if you piss them off.
Right.
You know. But and so everything about mermaids, I've always been like, that's me, like that's who I am. And more I learn about them, especially in ancient stories. I'm like, yeah, that's me.
Yeah.
But one of the big ones, Medusa. So Medusa has been interpreted not just as the snakes, but also as a siren. In that ancient story, she was of the water.
That totally makes sense because she is kind of doing the same thing. She's like, look upon me if you fucking dare, you know?
Exactly.
Interesting. I'm just like, I pulled up Medusa on the side I'm just looking through. So please keep telling me about it. But you're so right. I love all of these archetypes of, you know, men who, like, they both, on the one hand, they tell us they're supposed to be these heroes who are virtuous and, you know, are single-minded in their task of saving everyone. Look at them, like, getting distracted left and right just by a woman sitting there minding her fucking business.
Minding her business and just shining for the sake of herself.
Exactly. And then they're like, oh, let me cut off her head. What?
Yeah.
Please.
And, there's Mami Wata as well, which is, I believe, rooted in the Caribbean and Northwest African stories, and it came through the slave trade. So there's elements of American in that too. Mami Wata, also a ruler of the seas. And it's so funny because and then there's, of course, the stories of how our ancestors in particular, have, perished in the water, and therefore their souls and spirits inhabit that water. And that brings me to the Ocean Gate thing that just happened with the billionaires and that little submarine. And I believe that the spirits of the water, even the people from the Titanic, they
who
said,
were mostly,
you want to come down here?
Yeah, who were overwhelmingly, the poor people died on the Titanic and things.
Exactly. And so you have these rich white male billionaires arrogantly going in this unsafe, which they did not do the proper trials for the vehicle, in an unsafe vehicle to do something. There's arrogance, right? There's such hubris.
Totally.
There's such
and such a entitlement, hubris, and a frivolousness about, why do we need to go see, I can Google images of the Titanic wreck. It's something like they have an idea that they are better because they spend a lot of money to do this dangerous, useless fucking thing that other people can't do. But it's like, look at us breathing this poor ass air.
Yeah. And I believe the spirits of our ancestors and the spirits of those people on that ship and the spirits and energy of Mami Wata and Yamaya and Oya, because they're all in that water. That water is prime. That was slave trade water, you know. So you have all that energy that's in that water, and then they went down there with all that entitlement
against all advice. These spirits called them in.
And they said, "Come here. You want to come over here? All right, come on. And you're gonna die here, and we're taking you back. We're taking you here." And it is, I believe, it is a very, unfortunate, yes, but just.
Yeah, necessary. And like honestly, if I've heard some like, oh well, there was like a 19-year-old who was doing it to impress his dad. One, we have to have like a conversation about why boys think bonding with other men means doing a risky, dumb thing that could kill you. That's really sad. But also, if you are intelligent enough to be like, oh, it's in this rinky-dink thing controlled by a game controller. I'm going to spend $250,000 to do that. You weren't going to last long in this world anyway. I'm glad that they got to go in such an interesting way, at least. But I love the ocean really being like, come down here. Let's see how powerful you really are.
Exactly.
See how much that matters down here.
Right, because when you don't respect the ocean, the water, which is literally the womb of Mother Earth, like the land is like her skin and her flesh, but the water is the womb of our great mother. It is her. It is her blood, her womb. Her all. We
don't have the land without the womb. Without the water.
Exactly. And so, if you do not have the most earnest respect for her, she will destroy you. She will show you. Yeah. Which is, I'm someone who, I swim deep in the water. I go out there when I go to the ocean. I go out there usually farther than most people. That's something I got from my dad. Him and I would always swim out far. My mom would always freak out. But the thing is, I was taught very young the respect needed for the ocean.
Yeah.
If you want to go out that far, you need to thank her. And every time I go in the ocean, I say affirmations, I say my prayers, I speak to her, and I give her gratitude, and I say, thank you, Yamaya, thank you, ancestors, thank you to my higher self,
right? Thank
you to the Mother Earth, thank you to the infinite cosmos for letting me be here now in your womb and your fluids, and to be free and sensual and wet and weightless.
Yes.
And so if you don't have that respect for her, she will shut you down.
Wow. Really, it's like the ocean is really the great equalizer. Like, you think you're looking sexy or like strong, a wave will come and knock you on your ass in front of everybody. It will drown you. It will take even the most experienced people. It will kill you. It doesn't care, and it helps counter like man's mythology that they are the most powerful being who tames nature. You kidding?
Yeah.
Please, baby.
It's like,
the moon has more control.
Yeah,
exactly.
We are nature. So you cannot, you can't even tame yourself. So
men, please,
right. But it's funny because that also happened. Cancer season had, I believe, just begun, or it was just starting, and which takes us back into astrology. So we already had the energy of water reigning, right? Water is in control, and then they go down there, and the ancestors and the spirits and the sirens, all of that energy were in water season.
Yeah.
They were like, oh no. You're gonna die here.
Exactly. I bet that they were like, oh, this is poetic almost. This is perfect. Yeah, I believe it.
Yeah.
Okay, let me see. So Billy's been giving us some great feedback this whole time. Okay, so starting, so he said, you got a juicy booty, baby. I remember when we were talking about that. In my view, y'all are very feminine, but I also notice, love, and respect the masculine energy y'all both have. Feel that, like, that's when the true like masculine, like divine masculine or whatever, like I think they're guys like that who recognize the fullness and the power of women, and they love that shit.
Yeah, I love that word, fullness.
Yes. Okay, it says ownership is a part of ownership as a, what does this say? Ownership as a part of relationships is rough. Ish is a very cool dude. So happy for y'all. And then he was asking, is Jessa in that next Netflix mermaid doc?
Yes.
Could you tell us about that? So it's called MerPeople. It's on Netflix.
Yeah. And Ish is in it too.
Ah!
Yeah, so last year at the 2022 Afro Mermaid Fest in Miami, we were actually filming for that, and we were filming a music video for one of my friends, Blick Tsunami. He's the featured person from our pod. So our pod is like our family, our merpod. So we call each other like sea stars, our sisters.
Oh, I love
and he's the one that's featured. And so because of him filming his music video and also other things, we all are in this documentary. It's very brief. You see me in the karaoke part because of course me and Ish sang.
Of course.
They filmed all of it, but you know how editors are.
Yeah.
So you see kind of us after singing, but not when we're actually singing. We're like in the background. And then also during the music video section, there's like a bunch of us on these ledges in the water, and I have my blue captain's mermaid hat and my blue fin on. So it's very brief, but it's episodes 2 and 3 where you will see us a few times.
I love that. And I love that. I know you've always been into mermaids, and that's so beautiful that when you found, your home that you wanted to live, you were like, let me find my people, let me find my pod.
Yeah, and I would not have found any of them until I got on Instagram, which I did not do until I moved here as well in 2018.
Yeah. You used to be like I'm not an Instagram person, and you're not an Instagram person, but it is a helpful tool,
It is, and just like anything, you get out of it what you put in, and I was just liking nature stuff and mermaid stuff, and then I found these incredible fellow women, all of which you will love. I really would love for you to come one year. Maybe next year.
Yeah. Okay.
It's such a great group. We have deep talks like this. We talk about healing. We talk about trauma, and and then of course when we're on land, we say when mermaids are on land, when we get our legs, we love to dance. So we just have dance parties and we just twerk all over the place.
Yes.
And so it's and we're all very sexual and very open. It's every kind of person is there: trans, gay, bi, pansexual, demisexual, asexual. All of the orientations are really represented.
Yeah.
And of course, it's like a Black Mermaid Festival, but it's for everyone. Like everybody's there.
Right.
But it's through a Black lens.
Yeah.
And we discuss a lot of just Black mermaid tales. And actually last year also we got to meet the cast and director of this film called Urzuli, which I believe I told you about. It's on Amazon, I think, right now. And we met, I'm good friends with this, the main actress, this Black girl, Layla, and she was the mermaid. And it's about a dangerous mermaid. And Urzuli is a story. It's an old tale about a predatory mermaid. So Erzuli, Urzuli. And met the director, who is an Asian woman. She's Chinese. She's so cool. She's also, I'm pretty sure she's gay or bi. But they made this awesome movie, and we got to watch like a premiere of it at the festival on the water and give our feedback about the film. Yeah. And I have the poster signed by them too. And it's just such a great movie, and learned about a bunch of other mermaid movies because of that. But it's called Urzuli. You should definitely check it out.
That is so cool.
Yeah, and it's about these 4 girls that go to like a vacation thing, and they somehow each of them is being hurt by a different man in their life. And then these other guys are there, and they try to like do something to them. And Urzuli, the mermaid, she comes out, she saves them, and she ends up killing these guys very gruesomely. It's very gory. Wow. She kills them, and it's so good. It's so much fun.
Hell yes. I love it. I'm looking up I googled Urzuli, so Erzulie. There's the movie. Apparently, in Voodoo, Urzuli is a family of spirits, and so
Ooh.
it's a family of spirits that are often associated with water, femininity, and feminine bodies.
Is that so? If it's voodoo, that must be like Haitian.
Yeah. So apparently, also I see.
Yeah.
Assisi. So where is this from? Yeah, Haitian. Yep. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. It's
That's
Haitian.
awesome.
Yeah, Haitian voodoo, Louisiana voodoo, folk Catholicism. So yeah. Oh
Mm.
my God, so interesting. Oh my God, there's a picture of on Wikipedia. Like the picture of it is the Black Madonna.
Yeah. Yeah.
Super interesting. So yeah, apparently they're the only group of spirits directly tied to these characteristics, and those who become possessed often are women or masisi, which are effeminate and or homosexual men.
Mm. Which,
Interesting.
like, yeah, I love that. So definitely check that movie out.
Definitely. I'm going to check this out. This is so freaking. Actually, Urzuli is literally this dark feminine goddess, Kali,
Yeah.
like another.
Yes.
Wow.
Exactly. And so, and it's funny because there's a friend of mine also on FetLife. That's her name on there. Her name's Urzuli,
Wow.
and she lives in Florida too. And it's just I've been seeing that name more since last year at the festival.
Yeah.
And I did not know, so thank you so much.
Yeah,
like
of
I didn't
course.
know that it was a group of spirits.
Yeah. Totally.
But it's a great name. I was like, oh, maybe I should have one more kid and name her Ursula.
I know. That's the one thing about like deciding to have children. I mean, I just a lot of compelling arguments to not. One compelling argument is I love a good name, and like
Yeah.
the power of a good name, I think can't be understated.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Which is another reason when I first met you, I was like, Sheba? I've never met a Sheba in my life. I love your name so much, especially, being named Jessica was just like, oh, and it's a wonderful name.
Yes.
It means gift or grace of God in Hebrew, so it's great.
That's dope.
And you know what's funny? It means gift or grace of God. And then Marie is French, and that means of the water. So my name literally means gift, grace of God from the water. And then my last name, Coleman, which again is a colonized name, but it has to do with like blackness, apparently, in Old English.
Yeah.
So literally black gift from the water.
Wow.
So I literally am everything that I was always meant to be, and even my name embodies that.
Your parents took one look at you and were like, "This is you." That's how I felt about my parents. Like I'm so grateful. I used to hate my name, but I'm so grateful that they, like now when people hear my name, they're like, "Oh." And I'm like,
Yeah, because because the power of the name Sheba is undeniable.
Yeah. We're going on. We're going to the Seychelles. We're going back to the motherland for the first time at the end of the month, and we're flying Ethiopian Air, and their frequent flyer miles are called Sheba miles.
Oh my God!
I was like,
love it.
So that feels really,
Serendipitous.
Yes. You know it. Okay, so I want to finish up. Like, can you give me some so we can either go back to our Saturn returns or Lilith or the full moon forecast because we have a full moon coming up. I want to say tomorrow.
Yeah, on the 3rd.
Yeah.
July 3rd. It's a full moon in Capricorn. I haven't actually read too much about it yet, but I follow so many people. I follow this girl on YouTube. Her name is Vedic Oracle. She breaks down astrology really, really great. Also, Ablas, he's a Spanish guy that breaks down everything really great. And Chica, she's a black girl that breaks things down really well.
Okay.
Those are like my 3 favorites that give me a little more depth into astrology. But what I do know, is happening right now. I mean, we have Chiron and Aries. Jupiter is in Aries. Venus is in Leo still, I think. Neptune is retrograde. Mars is in Cancer. And I think Mercury is about to go into Cancer as well. So what happens is we're about to have a stellium lineup, and a stellium is when I call it the parade of planets. and that's when all the planets are in a beautiful line, a parade, and they're all pretty much right now. They're all about to be in Cancer as they come around. And each, Mercury goes the fastest around the sun, so that one gets there faster, and then it'll be out of Cancer and into Leo, right?
Yeah.
Soon.
After Leo. Yeah.
And Venus, I believe, is already in Leo, so that one's ahead, and then Mars will eventually move into. So anyway, there's a lot going on astrologically, but what I can sum it up as is that this is such a high energy, high vibrational time for healing, especially if you have Aries placements or Cancer placements.
Yay.
It's a high time for healing, and because it is Cancer season, there's more. So Cancer season focuses on the home and your emotional state.
Yeah, comfort.
And because your moon is in Cancer, so you have even more focus on your emotional state because the moon represents our emotions.
I'm very connected to the moon and my emotions.
Yeah.
So
yeah. So this is a time where probably you're feeling more emotional in Cancer season because your moon is there. And it's a time to take that emotional energy and really do any healing you might want to do. And Cancer is a cardinal sign like Aries. So what that means, a cardinal sign is a sign that's like a leader. So cardinal signs, they kind of dominate other signs. So if you have Cancer or Aries in your higher planets, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus, Mars, those are like the 5 highest planets in your chart, then you're going to feel this season a little more.
Really?
And it's a time for you to focus anything that you are feeling, to use that and focus on any healing that is being called.
Yeah.
That needs attention.
Yeah. I've been talking recently about I can feel that I kind of have everything that I want and certainly everything that I need, and I see that I'm actually very comfortable, maybe because of my Cancer placement, but in the healing phase. That's where I really feel like I shine and I get so much information and helpful stuff from it. But I think now I have to harness it and really use it to push myself into something that has to do with my Leo placement, I think.
So the great thing about Leo rising placement is our season's coming up soon. So then we're going to feel empowered, and Leo empowers everybody, but especially us. And because Leo's the only one that's ruled by the sun. No other sign is ruled by the sun. So all that beautiful sun energy, and also during Leo season, that's when Sirius aligns with our sun. So Sirius is a sun in another galaxy far, far away.
Wow.
And it lines up on August 8th with our sun. So you have both suns that line up, and all that beautiful light aligns and then comes into our bodies, into our DNA.
Wow.
And especially for us as Black people with the beautiful gift of melanin, we can literally take all that energy, and our skin absorbs it and transmutes it into data in our body, which helps with healing, empowerment, channeling, creativity, sexuality, fertility. So during summer in general, you always want to get sun.
Yeah.
You want to get as dark as you can, because you're literally taking information and it's being saved in your body.
Wow. You're downloading it into your body.
Yeah, exactly.
Wow.
Melanin literally downloads light into our DNA in the form of information.
Wow.
And so when we have a double sun lining up, like Sirius with our own sun on August 8th, you get double the download.
Wow.
So for the past maybe 5-6 years, I always make sure I'm at the beach on August 8th. That's my personal Sunday, and I just soak it up. If you can be naked, let the sun get into your vagina, open your legs, let that sun get in there. Open your mouth, let the sun get into your mouth. Look at the sun when it's rising or setting, not during the day. but when it's setting or rising, it's perfect time to stare at the sun because our eyes take that information too. So, and when you have brown eyes, you can take more of it because you're absorbing more. So, yeah.
I love it. Hell yeah. I'm going to keep that in mind. On August 8th, we're going to be, you know where we're going to be? We're going to be in fucking the Seychelles. I'm going to be in the motherland. Oh my
God. You're going to be getting the most delicious sun.
Oh my, apparently Seychelles has the most beautiful beaches. It's known for the world's most beautiful beaches. Oh my God!
I follow several Seychelles accounts on Instagram.
Please send, you know, any other accounts you think are worth following. Please, like, you're so wise. This has been an amazing session. I feel like, wow.
Can we do this just like once every 2 weeks?
Yes.
2 weeks just for us?
Yes, totally. I learned so much from it. Yeah, totally. Yeah, it really like helps me recalibrate, and you know, it's so nice to connect with you. You're amazing. And Rhythm, oh my gosh, you have been such a joy to have. You've been so receptive and beautiful, and just a light for us. So,
I mean, you know, we are but mirrors. So you are an incredible woman, incredible human, incredible spirit. And I'm just proud of you and glad to call you a friend and a sister and so much more than all of that, really.
That's exactly how I feel about you. I am so honored that the people who I feel mirror me are dope, are just so exceptional. I'm like, oh my God, I must be amazing then, because look at the freaking people who are drawn to me. It's kind of overwhelming sometimes, but right, we're good at dealing with, you know, overwhelming things. So yeah,
right.
Those mere mortals struggle, but like not us.
Right. That's why we smoke the devil's
exactly. Exactly. Connect us back to everything.
Yeah.
Okay. I love you so much. Thank you so much, everyone, for watching. Hold on. I'm gonna do one where I am like on the big one. Does that work? Nope, I don't know why it doesn't work. Okay. But thank you so much. Okay, if you can, like, if you're watching on your phone, or if, you know, Jessa, where you are, put your forehead up against the screen. I'm gonna kiss it. Love you so much. You're amazing. You're amazing. This is all made up. And I love you. I'll see you so soon. I'll talk to you soon, Jessa. You're amazing. Thank you. Thank y'all, everyone, for joining me on Sheba Sunday. I'll see you later. Bye. See you, Rhythm. Okay. Hold on. Here we go.